Hello everybody, this is your student Facebook meteorologist Sean Bagden here, and we're going live to talk to you about our day 3 forecast for Glens Falls, New York here. Current high temperature 67 degrees, low temperature 35, and a wind of 8 knots. That is currently putting us in 253rd position for the city right now. And it is also putting us at 427th overall ranking as of right now, and still well below national consensus, which is a great thing. Did bust a little bit on the low temperature because skies did clear out and the dry air did come in. So we'll just have to adjust for that tonight. If it looks like it's going to be clear, we'll go more on the low side of guidance than the high side, and maximum temperature pretty much spot on. We went above what consensus was going for, and that paid dividends big time here, and it is positioning us in a pretty good spot to make a tackling the leaderboard here, as we are not far away from that first spot for the school here, at only, what is that, over 4 points away, which can be easily made up if good forecasts are made. Alright, so here we go. We're going to start out looking at our current satellite imagery. We can clearly see this area of low-level moisture is starting to stream into the area tonight, which should keep temperatures on the warmer side of guidance tonight, even given this dry surface air developing right off here. But does look like it is drying out a bit, so probably only some high upper-level clouds here, and with the presence of warm air advection, would not expect much in the way of cooling overnight from where we are right now. But again, we'll have to look at that, as looks like clear to mostly clear skies should be in place throughout the night, so that could get a little tricky. That balance between aloft warm air advection and those clearing skies overnight, as we have this big pool of dry air in place. But if it looks like an area of high pressure will be centered over the area tonight, I have no problem going on the low side of guidance here. Since we're talking about that, we're going to go over to the SPC mesoanalysis right here, and just see where our plots of high and low pressure are across the northeastern United States. And again, here we go. Looks like high pressure is in place down here, which means we are on the return flow side through the night tonight, and looks like that will remain in place through the evening. But again, we don't really get into that stronger return flow until overnight tonight. So it looks like once we hit our temperature at midnight, it's going to level off and stabilize, if not increase a little bit. So we'll have to have a look at that as we head into our forecast period here and start making our forecast. Also of note, as this deepening area of low pressure starts to develop here, we have these isobars that are very tight together, and that means our surface winds are going to be increasing throughout the day tomorrow. So definitely expecting a little bit in the way of stronger or higher winds tomorrow, especially given the orientation of the valleys here. Southerly wind will definitely funnel right up the Hudson Valley there, and will lead to some stronger winds. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that as well. Okay. Let's go over to here. Okay, so here is pivotal weather. We're going to be using this for our models today, as always. And here's our NAM 3KM model, and we're going to be starting off with this. Generally does pretty well in our winds, but we're going to be using it for our high and low as well. And we'll keep the parameters that we set in mind as we go through this period as well, and we'll look for that area of warm air advection to develop aloft. But if we don't get that to develop by midnight or 2 a.m., I would expect our temperatures to drop relatively significantly throughout the night tonight. And given warm air advection through the day tomorrow, would expect temperatures yet again to be on the high side of guidance. So we're going to be looking at 21Z observations here to make our judgments of what's going to be happening over time. Here we go. And 21Z is right here, 64 degrees and 39. Actually, we'll go 65 and 39. That looks more reasonable. Okay, 65, 39. So looks like our temperature is going to be decreasing by, what is that, 39.8, so 4. Okay, so 3 degrees is what our temperature is going to be below what we're looking at for this low temperature right here on the NAM model. We're going to let this load. What did we say? We said 3 degrees. Yes, we did. So here we go. We're approaching this morning time frame right here. And we can see temperatures bottoming out around 48 degrees right here. Seems pretty reasonable. Then we're going to drop that 3 degrees off. And looks like that's going to be bringing us down to about 45 degrees for that low temperature, or at least our first low temperature. We'll have to see if cold air advection sets in behind that area of low pressure on the later half of this forecast period and drops us down below that. And here we go. Off to that 6Z time frame here. And does not look like we're able to do that. So we will stay with that 43 range, or 45 degree range there, unless we see warm air advection kicking in early on in the day. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, and here we go. We see that warm air advection kick in, so we'll have to keep a close eye on that. That is for sure. But looking at high temperature, we're going to want to go about, what was I saying, 4 degrees above what this is showing, just because that dew point was on the low side there, or on the high side, and will likely remain on the high side, especially given that warm air advection. Could be getting into the 60s there. For the dew point, so would not be surprised to see our temperature reach that 75 degree mark tomorrow. So we'll keep that in mind for right now. And alright, perfect. So right now we are at the NAM, so we're gonna hop on down to our next most used model. That's the H-Wharf ARW right here. And we're going to see how this is currently performing. Okay, here's 21Z, and what was our numbers again? 21Z was 65 and 39. Actually, that showed 64 before, so hold on, everybody. We may have to make a quick little adjustment here on that NAM 3K. I may have fallen asleep a bit there. 21Z, yep, here we go. I want that 18Z run too. Okay, shows it at 64. Okay, so we're going to take a degree off this high down to 74 and increase this low by a degree, so 46. Okay, that looks better. We were a little bit off there. Sorry about that, everybody. So here's the H-Wharf ARW right here. We're going to be using this for, yep, there we go, 21Z. And we can see that this is a little more accurate as to what is happening right now with that 64 degrees and 39 degree dew point. So 64, 39. And look at that. We're only 2 degrees low. So we're going to take 2 degrees off of these temperatures here. Because it's just the temperature we're looking at being an issue. So 2 degrees off what this is showing for a low. Yikes. Would be expecting these dew points to be rising a little bit more than they currently are. Looks like this is going to tank it out. Oh, there we go. Start to get that little bit of recovery going on here. Where does that drop down to? It looks like 47 tonight. There we go, 47. And here comes that 6Z time frame that is so crucial right here. Okay, drops it down to 47 again. And I don't think it's going to drop much more than 47. As we start to get that moisture return in place. Okay, 46. Oh, okay, 44. Really starts dropping out there. 43. Okay, that is definitely interesting. Dropping it down to 43 and could even go down to 41 there. So again, we have that big spread. With that warm air advection and oh, we do have those weak surface winds though, which will be very interesting to see what happens there. And that dry air near the surface. Huh. We'll really have to keep an eye on that through the night tonight. Interesting. Okay. And then we'll see what this does for a high temperature. I'd imagine it brings it up fairly quickly here. Up into those 70s, hopefully. Yep, and here we go. Really starts to skyrocket. There we go, 69 degrees, 71. Yep, here we go. And we'll expect, yeah, there we go, 73 degrees, right at that peak temperature here. Oh, even going up to 74, so I'm not really seeing much of a problem with going with that higher number here. I think 74 seems very reasonable for this, but just in case, we'll put our 72 number in place right there. But I think 74 is definitely reasonable for this scenario. Here's the NSSL H-Wharf right now. Oh, okay. And this yet again brings us right up to that 70 degree range. Have to keep an eye on that. But first we're going to have a look at what it has at 21Z, which is the current time. Here we go. We're going to bring this to the 9 hour right now. 21Z, and here we go, 62 degrees and 46 degrees Fahrenheit right there. And currently we have that 64 over 39, so 64/39, and we see we're 2 degrees low on that temperature, and what is that, 7, so we'll say 6 degrees off on that dew point, so 3, okay, so we will increase our temperatures by 1 on this model run. Oop. Here we go, we're going to bring this up to 6Z right now. Hopefully that's somewhere near it. Yep, here we go. And remember, increasing our temperatures by 1 degree Celsius, or 1 degree Fahrenheit as we go. This is really showing those temperatures staying steady near sunrise here. So it looks like we have that consistency right around that 47 degree range. Okay, 46, 47, okay. So pretty steady around that 46, 47 range right there. Very interesting. Okay. So this is showing that 47. Okay. Looks like we may be going on the high side of guidance for the lows. Wouldn't be surprising to need to do that. Okay, here we go. This is our daytime highs. Looks like that warm advection stays in strong, so we don't get too much destabilization. If not, we'd be looking at a very high wind event throughout this valley here. Still looks like it will be a relatively high wind event, that is for sure. Okay, and then looks like our high temperatures top out around 71, so we'll bring that up to that 72 degree range there. Okay, so now we're going to hop over to our final model that we usually look at, and that's going to be the HER. And we will start that out at 18Z, where we can get a better look at everything, and we'll bring this over to 21. Here we go. 21Z. Okay, 64 and 46. Again, the humidity is quite a bit off here, as we have. Oh, looks like it reset. Okay. Looks like we have an issue. Hold on, everybody. Oh, here we go. This is UTC. Okay. So again, we have that 64 and 39 right here. 64 is perfect. 39, we are off by 7 degrees. We'll say 6, so we're going to make an adjustment of 3 degrees right here. And that's going to be 3 degrees down in the morning and 3 degrees up in the afternoon. Just because of that, those humidity properties here. So again, we're going to go 3 degrees down at night, 3 degrees up in the afternoon. So here we go. Temperatures look like they start to stabilize right around that 46 degree range. Very interesting. And they look to stay there as that humidity stays around that same level, 45 degrees. This looks to be another low outlier here. Down to 44 by sunrise. 43. Okay, this is bringing us down to 40 degrees, which seems very low. And again, we have split model guidance here. That is 2 days in a row of that. Very interesting. But we do have that warm air advection coming in at the surface, so we'll have to keep our eyes peeled to that quite closely. High temperature. Looks like we reached that 70-degree mark. Yep, and it looks to stay right at 70, so we'll go 73 for that high. I think going 74 for the high seems very reasonable, given this area hanging out right in that area of 74, 73. May go 73. We'll see what model guidance goes here. And we'll also see what model guidance goes here for the low. That seems a little bit more important here, as it looks like it's dropping our temperatures significantly or not very significantly at all. So that's our boom or bust to this forecast here. Also, given the fact that we have this moisture coming in that area of low pressure, it's probably a good idea for us to look at that chance for precipitation, although we do have that area of stability that looks like it sets in throughout the night here. Although we do have omega happening in this area near the surface, which could be a little interesting in the precipitation department. Yeah, definitely need to look out for that precipitation near the end of the forecast period here, as that moisture really starts to set in aloft. Very interesting. Maybe some brief rain showers setting in here. Okay. We're gonna step this forward right here. We're looking at Thursday's forecast, so we'll look Friday at 6Z. Okay. Yes, we do have that area of rain showers that starts to develop here. Oops. I guess we won't be doing that. Here we go. We have this area of showers that starts to develop along that frontal boundary out in front of that developing low pressure system that may bring snow to the northern mountains later on here. Definitely interesting. Gonna be very low in the precipitation department though, regardless. Probably less than 1/10 of an inch and likely around 1/100th of an inch of rain for the forecast period here. Looks like around the Glens Falls area, you don't get much more than 6/100ths of an inch of rain here. So we'll probably go about 2/100ths of an inch of rain for this case, unless we see anything else getting much higher here. So here's our H-Wharf. We'll see what that does here. Out to hour 42, showing like 3/100ths of an inch of precipitation. And here's the NSSL. Shows about 1/10 of an inch of precipitation. So I think going 0.06 or something along those lines. I might go 0.05 for precipitation here, just for that outside shot of rain showers across the area tomorrow evening, before that more significant rainfall comes in later on Friday, with that potential snowstorm up in interior New England, northern Vermont, especially northern New Hampshire, where some areas could receive upwards of 18 inches of snow. Okay, now for the fun part, we're going to forecast some wind for Glens Falls, New York. And here is what we have. We're going to start this thing out at 6Z, and we're going to zoom this in to KGFL here. Alright, so here's what we got for wind. Again, we're going to be using that 60% rule for the boundary layer conditions here. Again, overnight tonight. Okay, here we go. about halfway through that 1 kilometer layer. Looks like we have those winds right around 40 knots just above the surface, which is very interesting. Again, here we go again. We're seeing like 35 knots just above the surface. Yeah, you can see that rapid increase. Yeah, I'd say around 30 knots or so right there. And here we go. This is where the big time wind comes in. Looks like that's right around that 40 knot range. Yeah, 40 knots, 40 knots. Looks to be checking out around that 40 knot range through a large part of the day tomorrow. We'll head over to the H wharf to confirm this. We're going to head back to where all that instability starts to develop in the low levels. Okay, here we go. Doesn't look very dry adiabatic there, but it's going to be right at that wind shift here. So again, you got that 35 knot area there, and then that should increase up here. And yet, here you go. You see those winds getting up to that 40 knot range. So it appears we'll be looking at winds that are just around just above that 20 knot range. I would not be surprised with here. But again, the way things have been going with our winds here, I wouldn't be surprised if they were a little bit lower than that. Especially given these models showing these 35 knot winds just above the surface. I'm more inclined to go with the boundary layer average than anything else. Again, you're showing 35 knot winds right at the beginning of this peak instability here. Yep, 30. That's closer to 32 knots. Okay, so we'll have a closer look at that when we look at model guidance. But we definitely want to be going on the low side here. So we're going to break out the calculator if it allows us to. And it looks like we're going to be hovering around that 32, 33 knot range here for that forecast. And take 60% of that. And that is what we are going to be dealing with for a wind speed. Actually, I've got a better idea than using that calculator, which doesn't seem to be wanting to pop up very much. Here we go. 32 times 0.6, and that's showing us about 19 knots, which I think seems pretty reasonable given what we're seeing right here. So that's all we got for model guidance today. Then we're going to head over to Brian Tang's website and confirm our thinking, see where we are in comparison to his model guidance for this exact location. And again, we have this big split between the NAM and the GFS. I think the GFS is more reasonable with this high temperature, as we do have that strong warm air advection coming in aloft. Showing that high temperature reaching that 74 degree range and even getting a little warmer than that. So I think that's looking fairly good here. That 74 degree mark. Definitely. Okay. So we'll go 74. Definitely seems like a reasonable forecast given what we have here. May even want to go a little bit higher than that. Alright. And then we have our low temperatures, which look like they're going to remain on this high side of guidance right here. Actually, I kind of want to go back and look at some models back here to see what they actually dropped out at. just to see if any dropped way below that 46 range. Okay, this one drops down. Okay, this drops down to like 46-ish. This is the NAM. It drops down to that 46 range. And here we go. Okay, this drops down to, it looks like that 46 range. Yep. Perfect. Yep, that drops down to 46. Looks like we have some pretty good consistency around this 46 number right here, except for, of course, with the H wharf, but I would highly discount that. Especially if we get another 46. Yeah, here we go. That looks like we'll be getting another 46 with this her run right here. Yep, that looks like it stays pretty steady around 46 before sunrise. Okay, drops 1 degree there, but doesn't really look at much problems here. And of course the her does drop a little bit more because of that. So we may try to cover ourselves and go at that 45 range, as there is some chance that it could drop into the low 40s here. But I don't see it dropping by too much. So I think 45 seems pretty reasonable for a low temperature for right about now. And going back to the Weather Challenge guidance here, we're going to have a look at our precipitation forecast, and it looks like 0.05 would be more on the high end of guidance. I would tend to agree with that. Looks pretty shaky here at any chance of precipitation, really. So I may end up going with maybe 0.01. 0.01, I could do 0.01. It won't kill me. That's for sure, to go 0.01. But there is a lot of dry air in place, so I think 0 may be the way to go here. And then finally looking at these winds coming down from aloft. Here's our 18Z guidance in winds. Looking at the boundary layer average, since that looks to be a little more accurate in these times right now. Looks like we'll be taking that 60% of, what is that, 27 right here. So 60% of 27 is going to be 16 knots. And I think that's pretty reasonable given what I'm seeing here. And that 10 meter wind forecast looks like it does a little bit better around these parts than it did back at KGRR there. So I think going 16 knots for our wind is fairly reasonable right here. So that's going to be our final forecast. Again, if you have any questions in the forecast, please leave them below. Other than that, have a great day, everybody, and we'll be back tomorrow with our day 4 and final forecast of the week for KGFL Glens Falls, New York. Have a great day, everybody.